At 7 o'clock, we got Liberty, which sits at 3-0. Traveling to Syracuse, which got a bounce-back win last weekend. So it was Liberty's favorite with 6 points in this game on ACC Network. So how was Liberty's season started out? Honestly, really good. They ended up having a 48-7 win against Campbell. Their second game against Troy was a lot closer than they hoped it would be. Ended up barely pulling it out with a 21-13 win over Troy. So again, an 8-point game, one possession game. So the Trojans actually held it close, which is a lot more than a lot of people thought the Trojans could do in that game. But they ended up getting a bounce-back win this weekend with a 45-17 win over the Monarchs in Old Dominion. So their quarterback, Malik Willis, obviously led the team in passing. He ended up going 21-28, threw for 242 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also rushed 9 times for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns. C.J. Daniels was their leading receptor, and he ended up having 5 receptions for 70 yards and a touchdown. So the real question for this football team is, how much does Malik Willis have to carry them? I understand they were able to get out of Troy with a very good defense, by the way, but again, defense has been pretty solid. The most was given up was 17 points against Old Dominion. Let's go against Syracuse real quick. We'll talk about them real quick. They started out the season with a huge win, 29-9 over Ohio. And they got a heartbreaker. They ended up losing 17-7 against Rutgers, but then ended up getting a bounce-back win this weekend against Albany, 62-24. Garrett Schrader threw the ball in 15 times, but he ended up having 11-15, threw for 190 yards and a touchdown, also rushed for 2 touchdowns. He also threw a pick in this game, though. Sean Tucker was their most explosive player on the ground, 13 carries for 132 yards and 4 touchdowns. But Sean Tucker was also their most explosive player through the passing game, and having 3 catches for 121 yards and a touchdown. So again, if you're going to beat Liberty, you got to figure out how to stop Malik Willis. Not many teams have been able to do it so far. Again, Troy, it only eliminated them to 21 points, which is an insane feat for this offense. So if you're the Syracuse defense, you're going to be watching Troy film all week, because they were obviously doing something right against Malik Willis. The good thing, if you're Syracuse, is they don't seem to have much of a ground game. Again, Malik Willis was the only player that seemed to get any semblance of a ground game going against Old Dominion this past week. At least 2 teams have played twice before. There's a tied record of 1-1. The last one going to Liberty last year, but this is probably going to end up being a better game than a lot of people expect. Obviously, Liberty's a team that it's a dark horse to possibly be a playoff candidate. I know this is insane, but if you think about it logistically, Ole Miss, if they go undefeated on that side, they end up beating Alabama, Arkansas, or whatever. If they end up beating all those teams, Ole Miss could very easily be a number 1 overall team this year. And Liberty does get the opportunity to play them. And if they beat them, I feel like you have a legitimate argument, if you're Liberty, to be a playoff candidate. Because this is a Liberty team that looks extremely good this year. It's a very good quarterback that should go in the first round. I think this is an exciting Flames team. On the other hand, Syracuse it's a disappointing team this year, I gotta say. I'm not entirely impressed with what Syracuse has been able to bring to the table so far. They've only played against one Power 5 team so far, and they only put up 7 points in that game. So again, a little bit disappointing in that offensive output. If Syracuse wants to win, you got to duplicate what Troy did on defense, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to, especially against this explosive Liberty offense. Give me Liberty here to pull out the win against Syracuse, but Syracuse to cover.